We love to learn. It's always been that way. For educators and learners alike, the history of training and development is a fascinating topic. Not only does it teach us where our profession comes from, but a closer look at L&D's past offers us a roadmap to its future, allowing us to push the outer edge of the teaching envelope, as well as prepare us for the inevitable changes we will surely have to confront. To better understand where we come from and where we're going, let's take a look at the origins and history of L&D. Believe it or not, managed on-the-job training dates back to the Middle Ages. Back then, most professions didn't require a whole lot of specialized knowledge or skills. Moreover, there was no mass production, so in order to manage the workload, only a handful of young artisans required training at any given moment. With the passage of time, more and more people joined the workforce and jobs became increasingly complex, and with the advent of specialization, companies began implementing the master-apprentice model, a form of learning where an expert teaches their craft to a novice, who then goes on to work in their mentor's field, often for the rest of their life. In the early 1800s, training and development took a major step forward with Kriegspiel. Kriegspiel, which is German for war game, was a learning system used to train officers in the Prussian and German armies. It involved role-playing and the use of specialized maps, color-coded gaming pieces and dice, all at the service of teaching strategies for combat and warfare. Kriegspiel is considered to be the first true gamification of the learning experience. If you've ever played the popular board game Risk, you've enjoyed a little bit of Kriegspiel. By the mid-1800s, the Industrial Revolution had begun to change the very nature of work. Factories provided greater efficiency in manufacturing, producing more and more goods, leading to the demand for an even larger workforce. Captains of industry needed rapid and effective training for their new hires, and realized they could accomplish this by having one instructor train large groups. Our present-day schools share many qualities from those early classrooms, as well as one significant drawback. Back then, workers learned their trade away from their job site, challenging them to take the lessons learned on paper, if you will, back to the realities of the factory floor. The problem of separation between classroom and workplace was temporarily resolved in the early 1900s with the introduction of vestibule training. Commonly referred to as near-job learning, it required setting up a classroom near the department which the worker was being trained for and provided a replica of the learner's actual workspace, allowing them to learn through simulation. But this was an expensive proposition, requiring companies to duplicate the factory environment down to the very last nut and bolt. By 1917, with the world at war, effective training became a matter of outright survival. American shipyard workers racing against time to improve and enlarge the Navy's fleet learned their trade using the show, tell, do, and check method, which divided learning into stages. This method specified that jobs be fully understood and analyzed before curriculum was written, that shop foremen be qualified instructors, that class size not exceed a dozen learners, that all training occur in the workplace, not the classroom, and, perhaps most important of all, that a worker's loyalty could only be had if they were given individualized attention. After decades of experimentation and research, training and development was finally becoming a profession. By the start of the 20th century, the training and development industry was poised to grow in ways few of its constituents could have imagined.